Hello everybody, and thank you for tuning in to the weekly report. Trump's tax returns show evil of the income tax. The final act of the Democrat majority on the House Ways and Means Committee was to make public several years of Donald Trump's tax returns, which the committee obtained after a prolonged legal battle. The tax returns confirm that despite being one of the richest people in America, Donald Trump paid very little in federal income tax. In fact, in at least 1 year, he paid under $1,000. Trump's success in minimizing his tax liability without ever being audited is surprising only to those who think IRS audits are mainly used to catch rich tax cheats. According to data released by the Syracuse University Transactional Records Clearinghouse, in 2022, lower income taxpayers were 5.5 times more likely than millionaires and billionaires to be audited. This is because low-income taxpayers cannot afford to hire top-notch tax attorneys and accountants to help fight the IRS, so they are more likely to give in to the agency's demands. Despite claims of the Biden administration and its congressional allies, the $80 million in additional funds provided to the agency as part of the misnamed Inflation Reduction Act will likely increase the tax agency's targeting of low and middle income Americans. Proponents of a flat tax or national sales tax argue that such a system would ensure millionaires and billionaires paid their fair share of taxes. Saying we must all pay our fair share of taxes assumes we have a moral obligation to the government that can only be fulfilled by turning over as much of our income as our so-called public servants demand. This is not the case. Individuals have a moral duty to support their families and to support private charities if they wish. They do not have a moral duty to support the government. Tax reform proponents also complain that the current tax code contains too many loopholes that cause economic distortions and inefficiencies. It is true that the current tax system promotes inefficiency, but this is caused by the income tax itself, not the loopholes. Conversely, loopholes actually promote economic efficiency by giving taxpayers the ability to spend more of their money the way they prefer, rather than allowing politicians to spend it. As economist Thomas DiLorenzo put it, private individuals always spend their own money more efficiently than government bureaucrats do. Some have expressed concerns that the use of President Trump's tax records as part of the Democratic and deep state effort to discredit him sets a dangerous precedent that will lead to increased use of tax information as a political weapon. The sad fact is that ever since its creation, politicians have used the IRS as a tool for punishing political opponents. As an IRS agent told the head of the conservative organization, who was being audited after calling for the impeachment of then President Bill Clinton, "What do you expect when you target the president?" The major problem with the income tax, and the reason it must be eliminated, not merely reformed, is that it is rooted in the idea that the government has first claim on your income. This idea is incompatible with a free society. Furthermore, the income tax must also be repealed because the force of the IRS, along with the fraud of the Federal Reserve, is one of the two foundations of the welfare warfare state that erodes our liberties and prosperity. The only way to avoid 1984 is to repeal 1913. Thanks for listening.